The paper is What Goes Around Comes Around. This paper provides a summary of 35 years of data model proposals grouped into 8 different eras: hierarchical, late 1960s and 1970s, network model, 1970s, relational from 1970s and early 1980s, entity relationship from 1970s, extended relation from 1980s, semantic, late 1970s and 1980s, object-oriented, late 1980s and early 1990s, and object relational from late 1980s and early 1990s. We have a number of lessons learned through these data model proposals. From the hierarchical model, we have physical and logical data independence are highly desirable. Tree structure data models are very restrictive. It is a challenge to provide sophisticated logical reorganizations of tree structure data. A record at a time user interface forces the programmer to do manual query optimization, and this is often hard. From network model, we have networks are more flexible than hierarchies but more complex. Loading and recovering networks is more complex than hierarchies. From the relational era, we have set-a-time languages are good, regardless of the data model, since they offer much more improved physical data independence. Logical data independence is easier with a simple data model than with a complex one. Technical debates are usually settled by the elephants of the marketplace, and often for reasons that have little to do with the technology. Query optimizers can beat all but the best record at a time DBMS application programmers. From entity relationship era, we have functional dependencies are too difficult for mere mortals to understand. That's another reason for keep it simple, stupid paradigm. From extended relational era, we have unless there is a big performance or functionality advantage, new constructs will go nowhere. From the object-oriented era, we have packages will not sell to users unless they are in major pain. Persistent languages will go nowhere without the support of the programming language community. And finally, from the object relational era, we have the major benefits of OR is twofold: putting code in the database and user-defined access methods. Widespread adoption of new technology requires either standards or an elephant that is a big company pushing hard. Schema last is probably a niche market. XQuery is pretty much OR SQL with a different syntax. And XML will not solve the semantic heterogeneity either inside or outside the enterprise. Looking at the contributions of the paper, this paper has surveyed 3 decades of data model thinking. It is clear that we have come full circle. We started off with a complex data model, which was followed by a great debate between a complex model and a much simpler one. The simpler one was shown to be advantageous in terms of understandability and its ability to support data independence. Now let's give this paper a PS score. It's an easy and engaging read, so it gets 9 out of 10. With 40 pages long on length, it gets 5 out of 10. This paper is about data model exploration, so on reproducibility, it gets 9 out of 10. The paper is very relevant to industry, so it gets 10 out of 10. I found the data model history and lessons learned section pretty exciting, so on learning meter, it gets 10 out of 10. So the overall PS score is 9 out of 10.